It's a brand new year. It's a brand new show. Don't forget to tune in to Talk Back Live this coming Saturday, February 26, 11:30 a.m. Talk Back Live welcomes world-class vocalist Beth, right from the Motor City, Detroit. Yes, we've got Beth right here. Don't forget to tune in. She will talk about her new single, Got Next. She'll also talk with us about her touring with R&B legend Anita Baker and hit singer Kim. You do not want to miss this show. Tune in. Talk Back Live. Catch it. Until next time, America.
I got this phone from my dad. Baby, I'ma stand up on it.
The City of Brockton is now in your hands. The Brockton, Mass. City of Champions app is a revolutionary civic app that will give whoever downloads it a full picture of the City of Brockton. Users of this app can discover new businesses and restaurants, have access to the local transit system schedule, learn who the Brockton elected officials are, explore attractions and amenities, and stay up to date with the latest news and information going on in the City of Champions. Among the many amazing features of the app is its business directory feature. This business directory is comprised of over 2,000 known businesses in the City of Champions. Business owners who claim their business will have the advantage of free promotion on the app. They will have the ability to inform users of their menus, special deals and discounts, and any other pertinent information. Here's how to claim your business. First, on a laptop or computer, visit claim.mycivicapps.com and click the Claim My Business button at the bottom of the screen. Next, type in Brockton, Mass. City of Champions plus your business name in the appropriate search bars. Once your business appears on the screen, press Claim, enter a name, email, and password for the account, and click Continue. Finally, fill out all of your pertinent business information. This includes everything from the business location, hours, and more. Once complete, click the Save and Send to Moderator button for final approval. Once the moderator approves, your account is all yours to customize and use however is best for your business. If you cannot find your business on the app, please email listmylocalbusiness@gmail.com, and a moderator will ensure your business is inputted into the app for you to claim. The Brockton, Mass. City of Champions app is available for download on both the Apple and Android app stores. Download the app today.
All right. Is everyone here? Ants.
Yes, sir!
Roaches.
Yeah, what of it?
Rodents.
Let's get this cheese!
All right, come on, everyone. Settle down, please. Look, we all know why we're here. We'll be eating like queens when we're through with this. That pantry's finally ours. Nobody can stop us now. Charge! No, there's no way. It can't be. It's Old Colony! Old Colony Pest Control. Veteran-owned Massachusetts, Rhode Island-based operation with everything you could dream of for your pest needs. Equipped with top-of-the-line gear to guarantee your home is protected and staying healthy. Phone number is 774-400-5993. Give them a call for the backup you need. Tell them that General Red Revere sent you. They handle anything from ants, roaches, ticks, mosquitoes, rats, and more.
No wildlife or termites at this time.
Hey, watch it, buddy. We're marching. We're marching.
Sugar the Play, a cash team production, is looking for actors and singers to fill several slots for this upcoming live play. For more information, please call 216-394-8926. That's Sugar the Play. Auditions at 216-394-8926.
No individual having the opportunity to have a better life for themselves or for their children, if they have the chance to scale a wall, to swim across a river, they're gonna take it.
And the sad thing is, most Americans don't know what freedom really is.
We will move forward to pass comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship.
They are laying waste to the very American Republic that has been the greatest country in the history of the world.
I did agree with some of the things that Donald Trump did, right? Because I do believe that there should be a vetting process.
Is that unreasonable to ask? Make sure you're not affiliated with any gangs. Why would we want you here? Get out.
The majority of the crimes that I prosecute as the chief law enforcement officer in Suffolk County are citizens of this country.
We grow enough here, we don't need to import more. If I could deport them, I would.
USA! USA! USA!
Life is so hard in Haiti or in the country that they had before, they'll take the risk of getting caught.
If you have $5,000-$10,000 to pay a coyote to bring you illegally across the border, pay to apply and come here legally.
She always said that, like, my situation is different, that I don't have the same opportunities as everyone else.
I'm not going to tell you about their life walk. I'm not going to tell you about how they got here. I'm not going to tell you about the journey they're experiencing. No, that doesn't matter. They.
Sooner or later, I started to get brought into like meetings with lawyers.
On day one, we end a border policy which allows federal agents to snatch babies from the arms of their mothers.
That's when I realized, like, I'm an outcast.
Where is my protection? Where is my family's protection?
I need to know who you are, because if I sneak into Mexico and I commit a crime, there's no documentation of me being in Mexico.
We come from, maybe different backgrounds, but we share similar experiences.
I am you.
I am you.
In the end, we remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
Roddy, come on out from under there.
No!
Come on.
I saw a monster in the closet.
There is no such thing as monsters.
But I saw it.
Jeff, could you come up here?
Okay, pal, it's time for bed. There's no such thing as monsters.
I know what you're thinking. Is this the booth, drafting the circuits, three-way theater, or the Kevin Jackson show? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kinda lost track myself here on whobazoo.com. So, do you feel lucky, punk?
It's caught in the crossfire.
Oh, you wanna hit people with garbage cans. Now I got to cut you.
Girl, put that razor away. I ain't playing no more. You put that razor away, I'ma blow your goddamn pinky toe off.
Oh, now you're gonna shoot me in my pinky toe.
Not playing with you, I will blow that little black, gnarled, crusty, dead motherfucker off your foot. Now put the razor away.
You must be crazy to pull your gun on me.
You're gonna be the nine-toe having his limping his itching Harlem. You don't stop with me. Now put the razor away.
Well, go ahead. Shoot, here it is. There it is. Shoot. Quick, go ahead. Take your best shot. Oh.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is the booth.
Jesus! God!
No.
God dancing Christ!
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Sinista1 broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are listening to The Booth. It is 2/22 22 2/22/22. And a lot of people are really ecstatic about this. They're all excited about this. The numerology people are all excited. And the 2/22/22. That's today's date. It's a big deal. A lot of people are happy about it. I don't get it, but okay. I got to thank everybody for tuning in the show last week. Second week in a row. Grand Flourish Collective Tattoo Parlor in Brockton, located on Crescent Street. New business. It's located inside the Mary Lou's over on the east side where Village Pizza and Subs is. Got a pretty cool QR code for their business. I gotta let them know when I go down there that it's pretty awesome. I walked around this weekend wearing this hoodie from Friday on. I had an event that we went to out in Revere at Sammy's Patio. Thanks for everybody for showing up to show support for Vianna Marie and Hillary Banks. But a lot of people ask me about the QR code, and I think it's pretty good business. You can tell people to scan it, and it lets people know about their business. Their logo's on the back. But it's good stuff, and I'm actually going to be trying to get down there and do a field trip to let you guys know exactly what's going on. What's up, Jim Tuffy? Got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about a lot of stuff with Russia, but I'm not going to get too deep into my legal and my political stuff tonight, even though I'm very upset as to what's going on, because next week is the first Tuesday of the month, and as you guys know, I have Ken Diesel and R Squared coming on the booth next week to break down a lot of this legal stuff and a lot of this political stuff that's really beginning to take off right now. And there's going to be a lot of stuff we got to talk about next week when these guys are on. Felicia, what's up? I saw you out here. Your pitch is coming up, so hang tight. And because we got a new winner for the I Love Boston Sports store. And I went down there. I went to see the manager and those guys this week to get a winner their shirt. And, they were like, you can get some basketball shirts. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. They thought that, we talk a lot of football, so they thought we were always getting football-orientated shirts. But no, they do have basketball-related shirts with, the Celtics, and they do have stuff in regards to the Bruins and things of that sort. So when we have some winners win some stuff, we're going to try to make sure that it's not always Patriots-related. We're going to make sure that it's either Bruins or Red Sox or Celtics related, because they got a ton of stuff down there. And I've got a new winner this week who won a t-shirt. So Felicia, I see you in the chat. I see Jim Tuffy in the chat. I see some people in the chat already watching the show, getting ready to go. I got to thank my sponsors, Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. If I ever need my controller fixed or repaired, because I've been getting into some serious downloads of Call of Duty, just came out with some new DLC. Everybody's coming out with a ton of DLC. And I'm out here playing it. So if you see me online, hit me up, Sinista1, MSN.com. And I'm going to talk about my hat this weekend, Daytona 500, but I'm going to get through my sponsors. Viana Marie, music streaming everywhere. The new single is out there. Let's Roll. The video was shot 2 weeks ago featuring Hillary Banks. And the song is fire. It's a problem. Boston music artists, it's a problem. The song is a problem. They did the song last weekend at Sammy's Patio, and it was an event up there, Show Some Love. It was all women performing up there at Sammy's Patio in Revere, and they brought the house down with this performance of this song, Let's Roll. And it's not going to be the first, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be the first time you all see this song being performed or being talked about on social media. This song is a beast. So, and the video is a beast. I can't wait till we get this whole project out. Tactical Target Systems. That is the place I go to get my targets. If we keep going the way we're going, I'm not going to have to worry about zombie apocalypse or the robot apocalypse. If we keep going the way we're going, we might have a 2022 version of Red Dawn. Wolverines! Because Russia might be coming, people. And we're going to be talking about this one, but right now I ain't playing. I make jokes about practicing and get ready for this stuff, but man, we might have Red Dawn on the way. Who knows? There's our new winner, Felicia Damon. What's going on, Padere? It's her shirt and her kids. She's got her kids in the picture with her to promote that shirt that she got from ilovebostonsports.com. And the funny story is that when I go to drop the shirt off, she sends down her 9-year-old daughter who watches the show. And she comes downstairs. She's all polite. She's all nice. And I hand her the shirt to give to her mother. And she says, "Thank you very much, Mr. Sit down, man." It's funny when you see how you inspire the youth. I've done a lot of stuff in youth football and youth sports. So it's funny how you see how you inspire young people and how they think of you. So it put a smile on my face for the day. So thank you for that one. To her daughter, who actually just celebrated her birthday this weekend. So if you guys are out there and you're watching this show right now, and just drop it in the chat and say happy birthday, or drop a cake emoji or whatever, and let her mom know that you guys are showing some love to her and happy birthday. Also, the week before that winner is Mike Smith, rocking his shirt, And like I said, if you guys are active in the chat and you're doing stuff in the chat, you can win the shirt. My man Dave Haggerty, he's a constant viewer of the show. He won a shirt, Dave Haggerty. He rocked one. We have pictures of him up on my Booth Facebook page. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Old Colony Pest Control, veteran owned. Carl Brunel, 774-400-5993. Licensed and insured if you got pests. Man, get ready. Spring's here, people. Spring's here. The pests are coming. Get ready. This is the guy. Once you get your yard all straight and you got your stuff all set up like me, we throw a lot of movie nights here at Sinista1 de Casa. We do a lot of movie nights in the backyard. It's a great time for us, you know. I know my neighbors hate me because I pump the movies through my DJ system. And, you know, me, when we watch movies outside, it's like action movies and stuff. I think the last 2 movies we watched for movie night outside was the zombie film where they went into Las Vegas, Army of the Dead. We watched that, and at the end of that movie, I don't want to ruin it, but you know what happens at the end of that movie. And imagine being in the backyard with the surround sound through DJ setup going on, okay? And then we watched some other movie that wasn't that bad. A lot of people haven't really seen it yet, but it was a Vampires in the Bronx. It's a pretty good movie. It was one of those, you know, Netflix films. It was pretty good. It was different. I liked it. But, you know, it's good stuff. News booth, people. Let's get into the news booth because Matty C's going to be on at 8 o'clock, 8:30 tonight. And he's got a good show. And he's got an extra special interview at the end of his show. So he's got a lot of stuff going on. He was down at Citadel Training Center where Lionel Boog Young trains, but he was able to meet up with a couple other guys that I'm well aware of and some good fighters. So I'm going to let you guys check out his show this Tuesday night following me at around 8:30. He goes live. But let's get into the news booth. Brockton R&V road test scandal. I talked about this last week. There were 2,100 people who supposedly, allegedly got their licenses without getting or taking a road test. 2,100 people here in Brockton. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that all those people were Brockton residents, because I know I've seen a lot of people going out there and saying, well, that's the reason why we have so many bad drivers in Brockton and blah, blah, blah. No, their driving test was in Brockton. It doesn't mean that they're all Brockton residents. People come from all over to take the Brockton road test because it's a bigger facility and they have more cars and they have more people doing the test versus going to either Quincy or I think Taunton is a smaller place to go. So, you know, a lot of people will choose Brockton, but it's not necessarily all Brockton drivers. Something was definitely going on there. We heard about this last April when they actually reprimanded and suspended the employees. Now the 4 employees have been fired. But no one knows what was going on. But obviously, if, you know, dealing with the registry, with the business that I'm in outside of podcasting and doing this show, this is like an inside job. A lot of people had to know, you know, how is this going on? You know, a lot of people have to ask that question. And, you know, my thing is, were they getting paid off? Because now there are some people who are saying that, you know, they were with their kids as a sponsor and they did nothing wrong, so they don't know how come they have to take their driver's test all over. One woman said her kid was already off in college and he had 10 days to fly back to Massachusetts so he could take his test this week, or else he would have lost his license. So a lot of people were being inconvenienced. The registry says they have a system in place. My feeling is, you know, the registry has gone back until April to where they are providing the cars. If you want to keep this scandal from happening again and you want to dot your I's and cross your T's, my feeling is that you keep the cars and then put recording software, recording cameras in the vehicles for every road test. So first of all, what this will do one of two things. As we seen in another place I worked at, you know, the union was upset that they put the cameras in the vehicles, and then when they started finding out that the cameras exonerated a lot of drivers and operators from BS complaints and calls of hit and runs and hitting passengers and things of that sort, operators were finally like, you know what? Let's keep the cameras in. Anybody who gets caught doing something on camera deserves to get caught, period. That's how it is. So I would say to the registry, keep the vehicles for the road test, because that now allows people to not have to worry about having a car that has a shifter in the middle. It also allows people to use a car that doesn't have a backup camera and all this other stuff that they don't allow. So my feeling is keep the cars that you are providing right now. Keep those cars. Then put recording equipment inside those cars. Now that will exonerate test people from any type of issue. In other words, someone saying that they were treated unfairly during their test. That happens. I'm pretty sure somebody fails a driver's test and then they want to say, you know, the person who tested me was in his feelings or he was racist or whatever reason somebody will come up with and say, you'll no longer have that because it will be all on camera. Every driving test will be recorded and on camera. A driving test doesn't take that long. It's about 10-15 minutes max for each person. You've got a timestamp. You've got it recorded. You know that person did their driver's test. Boom. That's it. It's cheap money to do this. Anybody who signs up to get it knows that they'll be recorded for this test. It protects everybody all around. That's the key. That's the key. And that's how if you want to end this from happening again, do this. And this is why we wouldn't have all these stories now of people saying this and that, because there are some people coming out now that are hearing names of the 4 people that are fired. And I know somebody in the paper that does a driving school in this area said that they weren't surprised that this person was caught up in this scandal because they had already felt that this person was a sketchy person. This is coming right from a driving school. I want to say it was Champion. I'm not sure. I forget the story, so don't quote me on that, okay? Mayor Wu lifts the proof of vaccine mandate due to improving COVID-19 conditions. Now, people, I'm seeing a lot of people on Facebook talking about this, and I see a lot of people going back and forth, and they're saying, well, you know, she's giving in to this Nazi type thought process she had. No, she isn't. She's not giving in to anybody. The numbers are coming down. Science, people. The numbers are drastically dropping because the holidays are over. Nobody's getting together, and the numbers are dropping fast, the same as last year. Guess what? The numbers are dropping. The 3 numbers that she wanted to improve have improved. There's no more need for the vaccine mandate. It wasn't going to be forever from the get-go. People were acting like their rights were being taken, and then they were saying that we were in, you know, this communist territory and this and that. And it was like, but it was never going to stay forever. Once the numbers got back to where they were, she was going to lift it. So people were making a mountain out of molehill for nothing. For nothing.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down. This is just common sense. This is just basic science. And a lot of you guys are just throwing everything you learned in the 5th grade out the window when it comes to basic science and world finance and social studies when we talk about the gas prices at the pump that everybody's talking about and trying to blame Biden. Biden has nothing to do with it. It's all OPEC that sets the rules and the supply and demand, and they fixed this whole thing to where it is. And now, like I said, I'm going to be talking about Russia in a little bit. We're going to get into this. Boston considers making one-way traffic in the North End during outdoor dining season a must. I love it. I love this because COVID was a bad thing, but COVID brought a ton. Tell Bella hello. I did that for her. Happy birthday, Bella. COVID brought some good things to society. And one of the things is when COVID hit, it forced a lot of business owners to think outside the box so their business wouldn't fail and fade away into the sunset. A lot of people had to come up with a way, man, I got to survive. And one of the things that happened under COVID is that they allowed a lot of restaurants and eateries to survive by allowing outdoor dining. Now, a place like the North End, Fenway Park, South Boston, some areas on the South Shore. They allowed them to take up sidewalk space and set up outdoor eating places. Newberry Street's another place where a lot of these restaurants would have died. If it wasn't for this allowing outdoor eating from April to September, a lot of people had lost their livelihoods. Let's be real. It opened up COVID and outdoor dining. It really was something that forced those who were complacent in running their business and running their operation. And when I say people who are complacent, it's people who own a business. They've got a good number of people coming through there, and they're happy. Their business is steady. They're keeping up. They have their down nights and up nights, but they're happy. They're complacent. Like a place like Supreme House of Pizza here in Brockton. They made a huge change in COVID. They put up a walk-up window. They were like, okay, if we can't have people come into our facility, guess what we're going to do? We're going to cook pizza and put a walk-up window. And guess what that did? It saved their business. So outdoor dining saved a lot of businesses like in the North End, Newberry Street, South Boston, down by Fenway Park on Yawkey Way. If they weren't allowed to have this outdoor dining at a lot of these restaurants in these areas, these restaurants would have been gone. They would have never survived. They wouldn't have made it. You take a place like there's a place in Southside Tavern, I believe the name of it is, in Braintree, right there on the corner. That business probably on a good night seats probably maybe 60, 70 people inside. Under COVID, what did they do? Well, if you drive by that tavern in Braintree, they have a humongous corner space of property that was not being utilized. Well, under COVID, they changed that all into outdoor dining, and I want to say that space probably holds another 50 people. And what that did for them is from April to September, now you got people who want to sit inside and people who want to sit outside. And those who would usually end up having to wait outside until they got a seat, they would decide, you know what, it's nice out, we're going to eat outside. And they were able to seat these people who usually would have to wait for a seat. So you've now expanded your business by 40 to 50 plus seats. This is why COVID was good, because there were a lot of people that would probably have never have done this. More money, more problems, I get it, I understand. But they probably would have been out of business. So I applaud this. I also think making the North End traffic one way on Hanover Street, you make that traffic one way, that opens up more dining space for outdoor eateries to be done. And it also cuts down on the possibility of people getting hit or whatever. You make that one-way traffic. It's only an inconvenience from April to September, and it goes by real quick. I agree with it. I am down for it. It works on Newberry Street, which is already one way. So why can't you just make Hanover one way? I totally agree. So let's keep it going. Candace Owens, who's salty? Candace Owens is salty as F. You know why Candace Owens is salty? Because Candace Owens pushed the whole Trump agenda and wagon train and this and that and sold out. And then guess what happened to Candace Owens? She never got the call to come up to the White House. Trump used her like no tomorrow. She was making the rounds all over the place. Candace Owens was on every channel speaking whatever she could speak on. She was talk about George Floyd and saying how George Floyd deserved to die and all this stuff. She was pushing that agenda. And for 4 years, she thought she was getting into the White House, and guess what? Candace Owens didn't get into the White House. So she's salty. I know she's salty. Because she got up there, and it was a revolving door for all those people up there who were just White House press junket people. They went through a whole slew of people. Sean Spicer. They went through a whole Sarah, what's her name? All them people that they had And Candace Owens thought she was going to get the call, and she never got the call. So she's salty. So right now, she's making the press tour, and she's speaking on anything she can speak her mind on. And now she gets on TV this past weekend. And Candce says she wants the U.S. to invade Canada to stop Justin Trudeau for cracking down on the trucker protests, the freedom protests. You know, the truckers from Canada who are blocking up roads and all this stuff. This is the hypocrisy of this whole thing. This is when people under COVID were leaving their homes and protesting the murder of George Floyd. What did we hear on social media from people? Oh, if they back up traffic in my area, I'm running them over. I'm running them over. Today, I saw all these people on social media. They're all upset because one of the truckers who had blocked a road and wouldn't move his truck was having knees taken to his back because he wasn't complying with the officers who were trying to arrest him. Now everybody's all up in arms and talking about, oh, why are the cops treating him like that? Why are the cops putting his knee in his back and hitting him in his back? He has his rights as a trucker to... No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I'm going to say the same thing y'all said to everybody else. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's what you all were saying, right? That's what everybody was saying. Oh, if that was me in my car and it was blocking traffic, I'm running them over. Okay. Well, it's happening now. And now you're sitting here and you're crying and saying they have every right to block the traffic and this and that. Y'all hypocrites. Hypocrites.
Sit down.
Sit down. Just saying. Just saying. Candce, please. Oh, so in the news booth, scientists have possibly cured HIV in a woman for the first time. I'm mentioning this because mainstream media really doesn't touch base on stuff like this. They kind of just put it out there and just let it slip right under the radar. Nobody really talks about it. Other stuff's more important, but this is a big story, and they've had some other HIV breakthroughs in the last 3-4 months that we shared on this show. But this is big. We're going to keep an eye on it. Our fingers are crossed. But they may have cured HIV in a woman. If they have, then let's see. Like I said, my fingers are crossed, and I would love to see more of this. Legal booth, like I said, I'm not going to get too much into legal and politics because of the fact that I have Ken Diesel, R-Squared. They're going to be on the show next week, so we're going to break it down. So I'm going to get into the legal booth and go on it first. Wow, here we go. Jeffrey Epstein's associate, Jean-Luc Brunel, who was being held in the jail in Paris, France. He was a diddler, you know. He was doing what he was doing, the same stuff that Epstein was doing. He was his associate. He was in jail. He was in prison serving his time. Guess what? Jean-Luc committed suicide this weekend. He was found dead in his cell. Oh my God, clutch the pearls. Clutch the pearls. Oh my God, I'm so surprised that his associate was found dead of suicide. Goodness gracious. What would possess this man to kill himself? You trying to tell me? Let me guess. The cameras in that area were broken. The officers who were supposed to be watching him on duty, it was an overnight shift. They're working too hard. They probably fell asleep in the shift, right? So they'll be suspended for 3 weeks with pay, right? Is that how the playbook works? Is that how the playbook works? Jean-Luc Brunel found dead of suicide. They should just look, when they read this story on mainstream media, they should just put like a 70s sitcom laugh track behind it. Because that's how funny it is. Come on now. Suicide. Look, suicide. Here's the funny thing about it. We all know it's not a suicide. And Ghislaine's Maxwell brother also knows that it wasn't a suicide, because the first thing her family did was they said, hey, y'all better check on my sister, because she's the last woman standing. She is the final tie to Jeffrey Epstein, because everybody else is dead of suicide. Because they're all so distraught that they all took their lives while in jail. So she's the last one left. She's the last woman standing out of the group. So her brother's like, I'm in fear of her safety. You damn well should be. Hell, if I'm her brother, I'm gonna say the same. I'm getting on the news. I'm saying the same thing. Yo, look, protect my sister. Y'all know how this works. Y'all know how this works, man. Oh, here we go in the legal booth, and I got my guys Ken and R-Squared. They're coming on next week. What's up, Viana Marie? In the chat. They're coming on the chat to talk about this. They're going to really break this down, but I'm going to just give you kind of what's happened here. The three men who murdered Ahmaud Arbery and who were found guilty in the trial, they were now on trial for a federal case because it has been proven it's a hate crime. Well, and R-Squared, I was talking with R-Squared this off air, and R-Squared said that we had actually discussed this, but I don't remember, so I'm going to have him definitely refresh my memory when he comes on the show next week. But the reason why these guys were found guilty in the federal trial, is because they they messed up. They messed up because they had a whole slew of white witnesses who were co-workers and so-called thought were friends, who released a whole ton of text messages and stuff. And this is what I was talking about. You know, back in the day, 70s, 80s, a little bit into the 90s, racist white people could talk to their white friends who were not racist. And guess what? Back in the 70s, 80s, and maybe 90s, a lot of those white friends of racist white friends wouldn't say anything. They'd let it just pass or just let it roll off their shoulder, not say nothing. But today, in 2022, we have a lot of white racist people who have a lot of white friends who don't. They're woke, and they're not putting up with this. And when stuff like this happens, now, one of the gentlemen, he got a job and he was working with a woman, and you know, he'd been there for like 2-3 months working this job, and you know, she asked him how he liked working there, and he says, "Oh, I like it because there's no N's here, no N-words here, because they ruin everything they touch, and this and that and this and that." Well, little did he know, the woman that he was sitting there speaking with and co-working with and this and that was married to a black man. Why? Because it's 2022 and there's a lot more people in mixed marriage relationships than there were in the 70s and 80s, when you could get away with saying a lot of this stuff like this and get it blown off. This is the problem. You see it all over TikTok. You see it all over Snapchat. There are a ton of mixed marriages out there. So when you say something like this, guess what? She kept it. She kept her receipts, and now she brought that out to prove that he was a racist. He had been texting her all types of crazy stuff about black people. And let's be honest, I've taken training for racial discrimination, and to be honest, a lot of white people don't know this. But if you're white and you're married to a black person, and you're in this situation like she was, guess what? You can definitely go to your HR and you can file a racial discrimination case against someone if you work with them in this. Why? Because you're married to a black person. So even though you're white, you still have rights that are being violated because you're married to a person of color. It's the same thing. Being gay, your sexual preference is a protected right under the government. It's a protected right. You can lose your job. You can be fired. So if someone was to talk stuff about gay people around me, I could easily go to HR and file a complaint because my brother is gay. And I can say, hey, your comments offend me. My brother's gay. And file a complaint at HR. A lot of people don't know that. Sexual discrimination, sexual harassment. You can file third-party claims. And this woman, she probably didn't know that she could have filed a racial discrimination claim against her coworker because she's probably like, oh, I can't file it. I'm white and he's white, so I can't file racial discrimination. That's probably kind of what happened. But guess what? She can, and I'm going to ask Ken and them about this. One of the guys, he was texting somebody and calling black people something lip. I forget what it was called. It was something lip. And I'm like, it had to do with black people having big lips. But this was something that he said. This is one of them things that a lot of people are going to see this word. They're going to look it up. And they're going to wait the next time that somebody white says it around them. And they're going to catch a beat down. Because I never heard this before. It must be like a Southern thing. So, but yes. These 3 men were found guilty in the federal court. So they're going to be sentenced probably next week or the end of the week for their crime. And yes, it's going to run concurrent. If they're not sentenced by next week, R Squared and Ken Diesel will be on. We're going to be breaking this down and talking about it. But again, if you are a racist person and you talking to your white friend, be very, very careful. Because if they're holding receipts and you do some shiesty, shady stuff, guess what? They're going to turn you in. Because that's what happened. These guys had a ton of evidence turned in against them to prove that they were racist. What was used against them in text messages proved that they were racist. All 3. Not 1 or 2. All 3 men. Racist.
No, you done f***ed up, don't you? No, don't you?
In the entertainment booth. So last week, I was on this show, talked about Disney Plus and Star, and I talked about how Disney Plus was unveiling this new edition called Star, to where when you sign up, because when you came on there was a thing to sign up, and it was telling you were going to get Deadpool and Punisher and all the MCU shows from Netflix were now going to be in this Star package and blah, blah, blah. And I put a text about it out. I put a post about it out. Sean Wick, a.k.a. Shot Elemental from EXP, we go back and forth all the time on social media. And he's like, I haven't seen this anywhere, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, look, I'm a Disney Plus subscriber. It came up, and here's what they're sending people. And next thing I found out, then 2 days later, Disney Plus had come out and said that, that this wasn't happening and this and that. And then now the story has been released that somebody jumped the gun, just like Tom Brady's retirement announcement. Somebody jumped the gun and released the cat out of the bag. Disney Plus is soon to be making a major announcement. So for those who remember watching this show, and I talked about last week on the booth when the Netflix shows announced that they were, ending the MCU shows, I said it was, when Disney had started Disney Plus, we knew it, but Disney Plus had already put a thing in place saying that they were only going to have PG-14 programming. There would be nothing worse. And I was like, well, you can't commit to that. How can you commit? So instead of being hypocrites, Disney Plus is going to put a lot of their R-rated content or stuff over PG-12 into this Disney Plus, either into the Hulu, or it's going to go into this Disney Plus part where you're going to have to enter a PIN code or enter your age like they do. I think HBO Max does it. I think Amazon Prime does it. I'm not sure, but there are some things that do this now where your kids won't be able to watch the content. Now, I watched X-Men First Class, and in that movie, X-Men First Class, Wolverine drops the F-bomb. And that's on Disney Plus, and that's an automatic. If you drop the F-bomb, it's an automatic R rating. Logan was R rated when it came out. Deadpool, both of Deadpool's movies were R rated. So when they acquired Fox, they acquired those films. So we're gonna see. We're gonna keep an eye on this. I'm excited. Well worth. I'm so glad I became a Disney Plus subscriber right out the gate, because they don't even offer, if I'm not mistaken, they don't even offer the yearly anymore. Anybody who signs up now has to pay monthly. So very excited about this one. 7:35. John Carpenter wants to make a sequel to the horror movie The Thing, which featured Kurt Russell. Now, I'm gonna make this announcement to people right now. If you're watching the show and you never seen the horror movie The Thing, stop watching the show. Don't even No, for real, because I'm a horror movie fan. And if I had to name my top 5 horror movies of all time, I would say The Thing is in my top 5. And to be real honest, The Thing might just be in my top 3 horror movies of all time. It might just be. It might just be in my top 3. I know it's definitely in my top 5. If I had to be forced to pick my top 3 horror movies of all time, The Thing might just be there. Night of the Living Dead, the original Night of the Living Dead is number 1. Number 2 is Exorcist in my book. So my number 1 and number 2 in my top 3 is Night of the Living Dead, black and white, the original from '66, because that started the whole genre of zombies and scared the crap out of me as a kid. And then The Exorcist, Linda Blair, possessed by the devil, coming down the stairs backwards. That's my top. I gotta say, The Thing might just inch its way into my top 3 over Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Scream. It may just. The thing. That movie was perfect. That movie was perfect for a horror film. It put you somewhere that you didn't want to be. Children of the Corn. Sorry, Felicia. Children of the Corn. Stephen King. Sorry, Felicia. That don't even make my number. That don't even make my top 10. I'm sorry, Felicia. Children of the Corn? No, that don't even make my top 10. There's so many other Stephen King movies that come ahead of Children of the Corn. Carrie, Christine, Pet Sematary, Cujo. All of them are well ahead of Children of the Corn in my book. I don't even think that makes my top 10. If you like it, that's you. You have your opinion. I have mine. But Children of Corn does not make my top 10. It doesn't even break my top 10. It's not even close. It might be in my... Damn. It may not even be in my top 2. Look, I liked Halloween 3 Season of the Witch more than I like Children of the Corn. For real. For real. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Children of the Corn. Actually, Village of the Damned, which was in the late 60s, Village of the Damned, I would think, would come ahead of Children of the Corn for me in rating my best. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street is in my top 10. Nightmare on Elm Street is in my top 10. It's in my top 10. It might even be in my top 5. Because you know why? I like stuff that's outside the box and changes how we think in horror. I like The Thing. The Thing puts you in a situation where you can't get away. And then you didn't know who the alien was inside. There was only one way. That scene in The Thing where they had to test everybody's blood and put the heat to their blood. That scene when they was all strapped to the dude and David Keith is there, and he's like, yo, cut me out this chair. And the dude's changing, and oh, come on now. That's a look, John Carpenter, Rick Baker, special effects. That was crazy. Crazy. Now, Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street, that was another one. That changed, Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street came out when the slasher genre was kind of watered down. Everybody was really kind of tired of slasher films. When let's be real, when Nightmare on Elm Street came out, a lot of people was like, oh, here we go. Another slasher film. Because we already had Jason. We already had Halloween. We already had all these other spin-offs. So we was like, what could you do? What could we do here that's going to make us be like, oh, shit. Oh, did you see that? Wes Craven did that. He brought us a serial killer who got his revenge on the parents who killed him by killing kids in their dreams, and the only way you could avoid being killed by Freddy Krueger was to not go to sleep. That's friggin' original right there. That's when you saw that film, you was like, oh, snap. And then you you go to work and you're at the water cooler and you're talking about, damn, man, what would I do? Because I'm dead. I'm sleeping, bro. I'm falling asleep. I'm not going to be like Nancy taking no-dose pills. I'm sorry. I'm dead. I'm for real. Like for me, I just watched the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. And I saw some people was like, oh, it's boring. Oh, the plot was... Come on now. Stop it. Stop it. When you watch a movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you don't want a plot. You don't want a screenplay. You want a script that's going to write everybody up who you want to see die. And that one person you don't want. When they write that script, if you got 20 characters, 19 of them got to die. And you got to have that one likable person that survives. Because everybody else got to die. And then the deaths have to be something that we never seen before. Now, I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm not... I'm going to put myself out there. I'm not going to lie. I'm the black guy that yells at the screen. For real, I'm not going to lie. And here's the thing. If I go to a movie theater, I don't do it. Because there's other people around. There's other people around the movie theater. So I don't do it. For me to go see a horror movie at a theater is hard. Because I have to restrain myself from being the black person that I am. So I'm not yelling at the screen. If I'm at my house, and people will tell you, I was watching this shit. When I first started watching it, I was on my iPad in the kitchen watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm yelling at the screen. I was like, oh! Because I'm in my house. And I love that escape. And I love being able to scream crap at the TV. I'm in there and I was like the first 30, 45 minutes, and I'm like, damn it, the dumb white girl pops up again. Every horror movie, there's the dumb white girl. And just does some stupid stuff to get herself killed. Like, all you got to do is this one simple thing, and you're probably going to survive, white girl. But nope, she read right from the playbook of white girls getting killed in horror movies. She read right from the playbook. And got herself killed. Blonde hair, attractive. Read from the book. Read from the book. And there's a great scene that takes place on a bus. If you haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, oh man. Whew, man. Man, oh man, oh man. Annette, what's going on, Annette? I see you out here, everybody in here. Yeah, check it out. I liked it. I like seeing people get killed on camera. I love it. I've been a fan of horror movies for a long time, thanks to my mother. Rest her soul. Rest her soul to my neighbor, Annette Fitzgerald, who passed away. She's up there with my mom. They was real close. She died of cancer over the weekend, 71 years old. So rest in peace, Annette. My kids, stepkids and stuff, they're all going to be bummed out because she used to give them candy and popsicles and tangerines and stuff when they play on the street, so it kind of sucks. Let's get into the sports booth at 7:44. Online sports betting, New York makes its debut, and this is really a local story for me, and I'm going to just tell you guys why. New York debuted sports betting online January 1st of this year. In 5 weeks, New York had $2.4 billion in wagers. Think about this. $2.4 billion in online betting in wagers. Do you know how much New York took home in the past 5 weeks in tax revenue? $80 million. $80 effing million in 5 weeks. 5 weeks in tax revenue. Now, let's be real here. There really wasn't much in January other than the Super Bowl and the AFC NFC Championship game, because that was January. But the wild card games, I think those were in December. If I'm not mistaken. Nope, we had the extended week. So all three playoff games in Super Bowl happened. So that 5 weeks was prime. But the point that I'm getting here and why I have this mentioned in local is this. It's
Jesus! God! Tap dancing Christ!
Massachusetts, get your heads out your ass. Get on this. Stop beating around the bush. We are losing tax revenue. You would think that Massachusetts lawmakers would learn from their mistake with casinos. You allow Connecticut to open 2 casinos, and you go down to Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, and guess what? You see more Massachusetts plates than you see Connecticut and Rhode Island plates down there. For real, that's facts. Facts. All that Massachusetts money going over the Connecticut border and supporting those 2 places. And by the time you open Encore in Boston, people are still complacent to making that 2.5-hour drive to Connecticut. You would think they would learn. They'll never recoup that money that they lost to Connecticut because Massachusetts was so stuck up on casinos. And now Massachusetts wants to be stuck on not allowing online gambling. It's been on the books to be passed for 2 years now. 2 years. Do the effing math, people, right now. Do the math. In 5 weeks. In 5 weeks. $80 million in tax revenue in 5 weeks. Boston and Massachusetts has been sitting on this for almost 2 years. 2 years. That's 104 weeks. That's 104 weeks. So something really needs to be done. Online betting is the way to go. Sports betting is here to stay. It's proven that it brings in money. Commercials are all over the place. There is no reason why we are not allowing, there's no reason. And this whole thing about, well, it's gonna ruin families and homes. Shut up! You got a whole slew of gamblers spending money on scratch tickets and lottery tickets, holding up lines and pissing me off on a Sunday morning when I'm just trying to get my coffee from Cumberland Farms. For real. For real. That's what the worry is. They're worried about it cutting into the lottery friggin' profits. Guess what? It's not. This is sports betting. This is a totally different thing. This is online betting. It's all virtual. And then you just collect the revenue. Collect that revenue. $80 million in 5 weeks? Do you know what $80 million in tax revenue does for a state like Massachusetts? Where that money could be, when you break that up and tally it up and where it has to go? Oh my God, come on, Massachusetts. Somebody should have been at the State House. When this story was released, somebody should have been at the State House right away and should have been knocking on people's doors. This is why. Come on, people. Come on. 10 minutes left of the show. Here's another one, people, I was talking about. So if you guys watched the Super Bowl, and if you remember the Super Bowl opened up, and who did they have announce the 2 teams in the Super Bowl this year? Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. For a lot of people out there, they didn't understand the significance of this because I was like, wait a minute, this ain't right. The Rock should not be announcing teams at all. What's the NFL thinking? Well, you're wondering why Sinista1 is saying this. Because, for those who've been under a shell, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, purchased the XFL under COVID because COVID hit and the XFL was doing real good. The ratings were good. Everybody was tuning in. Merchandise was selling. But then COVID hit, and they had to go belly up. WWE had to sell it off. And The Rock came in. The Rock bought it. And The Rock took over the XFL. He's the CEO. And usually the NFL doesn't even want to be talked about in the same sentence of anybody that's going to be competing with them. So when I saw The Rock, CEO of the XFL, at the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium, announcing the 2 teams, I even posted and tweeted it. I was like, wow, that's awkward. That's weird. The NFL's allowing The Rock to announce both teams at the Super Bowl. He's their competitor now. He owns the XFL now. Guess what? Breaking news. Not so breaking because I was questioning what's up with this. The XFL is going to be, in this story, they call it the Petri dish. It's going to be the testing place for NFL rules and policies and players who don't get drafted. So in other words, what Vince McMahon was trying to do and get out of the NFL, but because he opened his mouth and said some things he shouldn't have said, and the NFL pretty much blackballed the XFL, The Rock is more likable. He's got a great product. Whatever he touches turns to gold. The NFL's like, you know what? We've got these other things coming around. USFL's coming back. There's another AFL or something coming back. Look, they're going to take the XFL under their wing. And by taking the XFL under their wing is going to let me know that the XFL may not fail this time around. Because the NFL is going to utilize the XFL for rules and things of that sort. It's going to be real interesting to see. And the XFL is going up against the USFL. And I had a friend who said he could care less, but he thinks the USFL was going to do better. I don't know now. I'm still feeling the XFL is going to be it. And now that they've got this thing with the NFL, oh, man. It's going to be nice. Brian Flores joins the Steelers as defensive assistant and linebackers coach. So the man's got a job right now. He's still got his court case going on. But to me, it's a step down. You're not a head coach anymore. You're an assistant coach, an assistant linebacker coach at that. My son Terrell, he says, well, what if he's getting head coach money? Well, if he's getting head coach money, go right ahead. But here's the thing. You don't think Brian Flores is going to be salted as a linebacking coach under Mike Tomlin? Yeah, it's nice that Mike Tomlin gave him a job, but this is a man who had probably one of the top defenses in the AFC East this year. And now you're going to be an assistant linebacking coach? And you're going to be mentally in your head. You were a head coach. You're going to mentally second guess a lot of things that Mike might do, a.k.a. Omar Epps. But it's going to be a situation because I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers are entering a situation where if things don't go right for Pittsburgh and Flores gets vocal behind the scenes or something, and there might be some tension for him and Mike Tomlin. Let's see. I'm going to keep my eye on the Steelers. I'm going to see what's going to happen behind the scenes here because you may end up with the same situation that you got right now that's going on in Dallas. If y'all ain't paying attention to what's going on in Dallas, it's the same situation. Assistant coach versus head coach. The movie National Champions. I showed this trailer last week on this show, and there were a lot of people like, whoa, I missed that trailer that you showed about this film, National Champions. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to just show this trailer to you real quick. We're going to discuss it. It's like 8:46 or something. Let me get this off you. Remember when I talk about movies that push the envelope and make you think? This is the one, guys. Here it is.
We're still 24 hours away from the national title game.
Wolves quarterback LaMarcus James should be the best quarterback to come into the NFL since Patrick Mahomes.
And you know who agrees with me on that? Miami. They're poised to take him #1 overall for about $35 million guaranteed. But we are not talking enough about Wolves coach James Lazor.
One of the best coaches we've seen, but he has never won the big game.
We're live.
A revolutionary,
I am joined by LaMarcus James, who won this year's Heisman Trophy.
A revolutionary banging on my adversary.
This is the home of my best friend and teammate, Emmett Sunday. Tomorrow he'll play in a game that'll gross over $500 million. But Emmett won't see a dime. And just like the other 12,000 draft-eligible players that don't make the NFL every year, his football days will be over. Zero compensation, zero medical insurance for all the injuries he sustained. My coach, James Lazor, receives an annual salary of $5 million. The commissioners of the top 5 power conferences receive an average salary of $4 million each year. The president of the NCAA received a salary of $3.9 million last year. So I'm personally asking all players in Monday's national title game to join me in this boycott to demand that the NCAA will recognize players as paid employees and not student athletes.
Jesus.
Coach, I think it's best if the NCAA took the reins here.
LaMarcus is a good person.
We squander a $600 million payday for tomorrow alone.
Everybody around us got private jets and private chefs. You got insurance? What you gonna fix your broken body with, huh?
He makes a compelling argument, and I know I stand behind him.
The reality is he's got so much to lose.
Do not let LaMarcus rob you of your legacy.
My football team will play for me.
You two cannot unionize college sports, and that's a fact.
4 players just tweeted we're in with the hashtag fix the system.
It ain't just 2 of us no more, and that's a fact.
Who really won this? Like, who really won that man that say he won?
We gotta stick together on this, fellas. If he sits, they gonna Kaepernick him like you.
LaMarcus leaked my Nike contract.
These boycotts have gained a lot of momentum.
What happens to all of the other sports that are not men's football and basketball when they start paying you?
Everybody doing it. Everybody doing it.
LaMarcus is standing toe-to-toe with the behemoth, and we haven't even begun to fight.
Glory is at hand.
God is with us. He says there is nothing to lose.
Glory is yours.
I am here, and there is nothing to fear.
Glory is ours.
It starts right now. It starts right here. Take it.
National Champions. I'm feeling it. I might have to do a movie night or something. A movie night or something. Felicia Damon is in the chat. Chris Gagney, what's going on? I see you out there. A lot of people out here. A lot of people. Lisa Clark McPherson, what's going on? Make sure to say hello if you want to try to win a shirt. Scott LaFrada, what's going on? My mom's favorite horror movie of all time, Exorcist. Exorcist. If the movie's on, she's watching it. Exorcist. She had the DVD to play anytime she wanted, but if she was scrolling through the TV channels, and if the Exorcist was on, boop, guess where that remote stayed? Boop, Exorcist. That was her most favorite. I remember her going to see that, and her and my dad coming home to the babysitter, and they had barf bags because that was the gimmick. Because when they tested the film, people were throwing up during the screening of The Exorcist. So that was their gimmick, was to give out barf bags when you went to see the movie. And I remember my parents coming home with those barf bags from the movie The Exorcist. Great, ingenious stuff. Biden bombshells, 7:59. I got a minute to blow this show out, which we can do because Maddie C's on at 8:30. But let's get into it. Germany halts Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Why? Because Russia had decided to take two countries that were saying they were not part of the Ukraine, and Russia, Putin says, well, we're going to recognize these guys as independents. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to move some of our tanks over into these two independent countries that are really part of the Ukraine, but for us, it's not part of the Ukraine because they're independent countries of their own mind and accord, which we all remember happened when the USSR broke up. Remember, Kyrgyzstan and all these other countries, they broke away from the USSR and they became their own countries. And you know what? That still sticks in Russia had all of these countries. Remember when you would look at the map of the USSR in school? Remember United Soviet Republic of Russia? Remember you all saw that map, that huge ass map of the USSR? And now that all these countries have broken away and become their own independent countries, Russia is still salty over that. They are still salty over the fact that when you look at a map now, you see all these little other countries that Russia once was in control of and controlled. They don't like that. Putin, they don't like that. And Putin is trying to get his... So Germany halts the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Now, the reason why I mention this too is...
Sit down.
Sit down, all you guys, all you people on social media right now who are talking about it affects the price of this pipeline that got shut down. This is Biden's fault. This is why. Shut up! The Nord Stream 2 pipeline provides natural gas. It doesn't provide fuel that's going to the pumps for consumers. So do your homework. A lot of y'all out here sharing this and talking about this and saying this is why gas is $5. No, it's not. The Nord Stream 2 pipeline was natural gas for homes, for compressed natural gas vehicles. It had nothing to do with prices at the pump. So stop it. Do your homework. I'm tired of all you people who didn't pay attention in the 5th grade. World economics or social studies. Come on now. Stop it. So Russia's now moved in. They've moved into two countries that are part of the Ukraine. But Putin don't care. And like I said, there is a reason why chess players come from Russia. Your toughest, meanest, ruthless chess players, there's a reason why they come from Russia. And Putin, I'm pretty sure if you had to play this man in chess, he's winning 9 out of 10 times. Putin is winning. Why? Because I've seen it over the years. He did it with Donald Trump. I got all these people out here that are talking about, oh, well, you didn't see all this happen when Putin was in office and Trump was in office. Stop it. You know why you didn't see it? Because Putin made Trump his biatch. Y'all don't want to say that. You all don't want to admit it, but that's what it was. Because I saw somebody post and said, well, when Trump was in office, Russia didn't invade anybody. Yes, they did. As soon as Trump got into office, you know what Putin did? He invaded Georgia. Remember that? And killed soldiers. Remember that? But we all forget that he invaded 2 different countries under Trump. And Trump went over there and tried to say something, and guess what happened? He bitched Trump out. They ended up in this bromance where he talked no bad ill will of Putin. He talked so good of Putin that the CIA and FBI was worried about Trump giving secrets away to Russia. Whole family being investigated for possibly giving secrets away to Russia. And now we might have to worry about that because they found those documents and things that were taken from the National Archives that they found in Mar-a-Lago. That's not over yet. So stop the hypocritical discussion there, because all these people want to bring up Hillary's emails, but then they want to ignore the stuff that Trump did with these documents down at the National Archives that they're looking for. We're going to discuss, oh my God, we're going to discuss this next week. That's why I'm not spending too much time on this. Biden says this is the beginning of a Russian invasion. He calls it an invasion, and sanctions are going to go into effect ASAP against Russia. Somebody I heard also saying out there, Biden's got no balls. We should go right in and this and that. Y'all giving me headaches. People who haven't talked any politics, people who haven't talked anything about world political stuff, y'all just need to stop it. Because y'all on social media showing your whole ass of how much you don't know about this stuff. I've been talking about this stuff. I've been boring people with this stuff forever. Anybody who knows me will say Keith's been talking politics and all this crap since he was a little kid with his boring ass. And now because of social media, everybody thinks they're woke. And look, stop it. Biden just can't go into Russia right now because right now this whole thing is being overseen by NATO. And whatever moves anybody makes right now has to go through NATO. So Biden can only do what he can do right now, and that's place sanctions against Russia. That's what NATO is going to allow Biden to do. Because right now, realistically, this is a Russia-Ukraine issue, and Ukraine has to handle it first before NATO steps in. Now, here's the chess game. Here is the chess game, people. Okay? Xi Jinping, the president of China, was told about Putin going in and taking over these two independent countries. And the president of China, who's real close right now with Putin and doesn't want to stir the waters, but he also doesn't want to stir the waters with Biden in the U.S., he turns around and he says, well, you know what? I see what he's doing, but he really is not supposed to be in those two countries because the Minsk Accords are in place. So China he played his chess game. He moved his piece on the board, and he said, okay, I'm going to throw this out there. This is what I know about what Putin is doing. So China says this. He comes right out, right after Biden makes his speech. Right after Biden makes his speech about sanctions, the China president says, well, the Minsk Accords, which was supposed to be in place, he has to honor that. He can't be there. Place my chess piece on the board. That's what they're doing. So right now, China's kind of playing Switzerland in the matter. Well, guess what? Putin says this. Okay, you moved your knight on the board, China. You moved your knight. But guess what? You really didn't pay attention to where you moved your knight, because guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring my bishop down, and I'm going to put you in check. How does Putin put China in check right now? Because just 30 minutes after the president of China made those comments, guess what happens? Putin turns around and says, guess what, people? The Minsk Accords that were put into place to end war in eastern Ukraine do not exist. They've already, guess what, people, expired. The Minsk Accords have expired. So guess what? Because they expired, I'm taking my tanks and my peacekeepers into these two independent countries that are part of the Ukraine. So really, when Putin has a press conference and then puts this out there, guess what? Guess what? That's not to Bush. I mean, that's not to Biden. That's not to NATO. This right here, Putin putting this out right here and talking about the Minsk Accords, For those who don't know anything about politics and NATO and world, this stuff here, this right here, this is a chess move. This chess move right here is to China because they're supposed to be boys right now. China's supposed to be supporting whatever Putin does because China's trying to do the same thing with Taiwan. But they don't want to piss nobody off. And right now, all eyes are on Putin. So Putin makes this move. He makes this move to the Ukraine and takes over these two independent parts of Ukraine. And he waits to see what China's going to say. China doesn't say what he doesn't like what China says. He doesn't like what China says. Trust and believe me. When Ghislaine came out and said what he said about the Minsk Accords, trust and believe me, Putin was probably in his office, pissed off. Oh, okay, my move. You either with me or you're against me, China. You're either with me or you're against me. I'm putting this in layman's terms. Do your homework, people. Do your homework. Because a lot of y'all are on social media, you don't know shit about this stuff. You talking all this stuff and babbling all this stuff, and you don't know crap how this works. Pay attention to what's being put out there in the media, and you'll see what's going on. Because a lot of people will see this, and they don't think nothing of it. Right here, this comment. Boom. The Minsk Accords do not exist. So that's realistically, what's up, Eugene? This is realistically telling China, you either with me or against me. We doing this. That's Putin right now. He's letting you know that I'm doing this. I'm bringing my peacekeepers in. I'm doing this whether you like it or not, China. You're either with me or you're against me. So by him telling the Chinese president that the Minsk Accords do not exist, what you're talking about is why you're not getting involved and why you're going to let NATO handle it, Putin is just letting you know right now. This is what you need to do, bro. The Minsk Accords don't exist. So I have every right to go in and take over these two little independent countries with my peacekeeper groups. Ball's in your court, China. Zhejiang, come on. What you gonna do now? Because now the Accords don't exist. And if they don't exist, the question to China is, okay, then what are your thoughts now? Because they're gonna have to answer that. And they're gonna have to show NATO who are they supporting, on what side they're going to be on before we take the next step. Man, I can't wait till we have the guys on next week, though. I can't wait. Woo! Y'all see me. I'm fired up. I love talking this stuff. I'm passionate about this stuff because I know about this stuff. I follow this stuff. All y'all fake, all y'all other people out here on social media talking this yin-yang stuff that you don't know nothing. Stop it. Sit down.
Sit down.
Done. Oh, man, we got to get ready to get out of here. I got to thank everybody watching and supporting the show who bought Sinista1 beanies. All gone, sold out. Thank you very much. Everybody who bought the beanies, showing some love. Hoodies are coming. Hoodies are on the way. And you can yell at Sinista1 and be mad at me because I have been dragging my ass on getting my hoodies done. And it's just simply dragging my ass. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I've been dragging my ass on getting these hoodies done, and that's my fault, and I apologize. I know even my own son and his girlfriend and my oldest son and my stepson, they've all been bugging me for hoodies. Hoodie season's here, Dad. Where's your hoodies at? My man Daryl Smith, who's up here with a beanie, he actually made a Sinista1 Productions hoodie in white. We did a test one, and I wore it on this show, and so many people was in my box. They was like, all the hoodies are in? Nope, it was a test one. So I got to get them out. I got to stop. I got to stop sleeping on this and get it out there. Eugene Smith, man, what's up? But I got to thank everybody. I got to thank everybody for doing this show with me and hanging out with me. Here are the shows that I produce. She Talks Football Podcast, Drafting the Circuits Radio, Oscar Mike Radio, Thursday nights. Check him out. Happy Hour with Lito. He's usually on at 9 o'clock on Triple Threat Thursdays. Matty C's Sports for You and Me. Check him out at 8:30 tonight, right after this show. There's our winner, Felicia Damon Pindell. Good stuff. Sit down. Let your daughter know. Sit down. I heard she was going to school. She was ready to go to school and tell people, sit down. I love it. I love influencing kids, man. I love it. Love it. Mike Smith, thank you, sir. You were also a winner of a t-shirt. And anybody who's in this chat, start dropping chats, man. Start dropping stuff in the chat because winners get t-shirts. And I got a lot of people in this chat that might get a t-shirt, and I'll be dropping it off to them. AFL, A7FL, is the no pad football league. It's a tackle league, but they wear no pads, and they are coming. They have signups. Their league begins in late April, so we're going to be ready to see them. And that's about it, people.
We're still 24 hours away from the national...
Hold on, that's not supposed to play. That was not supposed to play. That was my bad. I screwed up. I messed up. That was my fault. That trailer was not supposed to play again. But I'm here. I'm done. It's your boy Sinista1. It is 8:15. I went a little bit over, but that's okay. Matty C Sports for You and Me is going to be on at 8:30. He went down to Citadel, went down to see my man Lionel Boojung and some other fighters. And it's going to be a good show. And I think Friday night, Viana Marie is going to be in Malden performing with Hillary Banks. I think it's Malden we're in Friday night. And then we've got, if you guys saw all the guests coming up, let me just blast through the guests we got coming up real quick. I got Josh McDaniels from Doubleback Winery, Drew Bledsoe's Winery. Josh McDaniels is coming on this show. Can't wait. Oh, Kenny Barber. No, Kenny Barber is not on next week, Felicia. Kenny Barber Hendricks was supposed to be on the show this week, but Kenny Barber Hendricks and his band have been hired to be the backing band for the Soul Train Cruise. So he actually called me up. They're going to have to reschedule their appearance on the show. They were rehearsing, but they were actually leaving this week for the cruise. So Kenny Barber Hendricks will be on this show probably in 2 weeks. The cruise is about a week and a half. So they're going to rebook, and they'll be on the show in about 2 weeks. I can't wait because they're going to have much more to talk about when they come on the show. So I can't wait for that one. And I think that's it. I got to mention my hat. 23-9 Racing. Bubba Wallace. Almost took home Daytona 500, but Austin Cindric, the rookie, took home the Daytona 500. He held off a nasty, nasty attack from Bubba Wallace, who was sitting in 4th and 5th, trying to come up on the side. But the best part of the race, if you were a fan of the movie Days of Thunder, if you remember the scene where Rowdy is in the lead and he's about to try to come up and pass him on the right, and Rowdy says in his radio, "This boy ain't got the balls to pass me on the right side." Remember that scene? That's exactly how Daytona 500 finished. They had a big wreck. They had a yellow flag. They went into overtime. They come out of the overtime with I think 3 miles left. 3 miles left to the checkered flag. So you know how it is. It's tight. Everybody's tight. Everybody's close. Everybody's trying to make their move. And Ryan Blaney, he tries to pass Austin Cindric up on the right-hand side of the turn. And, you know, he's getting a push from his teammate. Bubba Wallace is trying to come down low. He knows it. He's about 100 yards away from the finish line. And Blaney is trying to make that move on the outside. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But Blaney comes up onto his right rear quarter. And guess what Austin Cindric does? Austin Cindric puts his ass into the wall. Puts him into the wall. Then comes back down from being push drafted. And holds off Bubba Wallace, who was down low. And he gets his win as a rookie. Austin Cindric. What a great way to finalize the Daytona 500. It was great stuff. I love it. I know a lot of people don't like racing, but it's something I've always liked, and I've been there for years watching the sport. So good stuff. I got to thank everybody for tuning in the show. Make sure to check out Drafting the Circuits and Oscar Mike Radio, as I mentioned. Matty C's Sports for You and Me, Happy Hour Lido. Talk back with Gloria Shea, who has Beth on this Saturday. I can't wait for this show. Beth has been on Dancing with the Stars, and she's also been on The Voice. She's going to be on her show live, and I did show the promo before the show began. Beyond the Music is available everywhere. Please make sure to follow her. And as I said, 8:30, Triple Threat Tuesdays, Matty C's coming up. And SpongeBob, do me a favor. Take me home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinista1 production, hosted by Sinista1.
I gotta start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, bitch, don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try and I'll probably handle that because I never back down. I'm that shit with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit, it's like I got my own now. I ain't home when I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, it's on everything. I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO.com. It's your website, it's your website, it's your website, it's your website.